Are you ready to make some matching underwear for her? Since we already have the matching underwear for him, that's what we're doing today. Hi, I'm Christina, and I love to digitally apparel pattern and create unique pieces of wearable art, especially matching his and her stuff for this year's Valentine's Day. So we have this pattern that we drafted for the male that is this fun stripedy one, and now we need to get our fabric back out and do a panties for the women. Now, I did run out of the lace that I used on the men, so I had to go and buy some other bright pink matching lace. But I'm really excited for how this one's going to turn out. The lace will be a little bit different, so they won't 100% be matchy-matchy. So if you want to make sure they're matchy-matchy, make sure you get enough materials before you start. If you're interested in either of these patterns, you can definitely find the link down below of where you can buy them, as well as make sure to check out this video up here where you see how we make the men's boxer briefs. So let's get sewing. After printing out our pattern, we're going to tape it together and cut out our pattern. Now, I added seam allowance after I had drafted this to test this pattern, so I need to fold back the center front and center back so that I'm not adding extra room in my pattern. But on the printed pattern up online, you do not need to do that. There it is, there's the pattern. Now I'm going to lay out my striped fabric. The fun thing with striped fabric is because I have multiple patterns, I can actually, play around with which direction the stripes go. So I'm going to have the stripes go up and down on the front and back, and then side to side on the little side panel. So I'm going to pin my patterns in place and have the side panel be going the opposite way as the front and back. You want to make sure that you mark your notches so that you know which side lines up to which side. Now it's time to get out my lace. So I'm using a wider lace than I would want to actually just sew on directly. So I'm going to actually cut it in half. And I'm going to use the top half for the top half of my panties, and I'm going to use the scalloped edge for around each leg. So I'm just going to cut this in half. I'm going to first start by cutting the length that I need. I'm going to get out a ruler, and I tried to cut it exactly in half, and I actually really struggled with the ruler. It was not nearly as straight as I was wanting it to be, so I did the second half eyeballing. Don't tell my teacher, but it actually came out a little bit better in my opinion. Now it's time to serge my panties together. So I'm going to start by serging my fronts to my sides, lining up those notches so that I know that it's the right side going to the right side. Then I'm going to sew the sides to the back. Now before you do the final seam, you actually want to sew on your lace. So I'm going to sew the lace pointing inwards so that when I flip the serging back and stitch it down, it is then facing outwards. So I'm just going to serge it on and check it, and then I'm going to do the same, leaving a little bit extra at each of the ends so that I can easily serge off exactly how I want it to go. And I'm not too worried about the serging seams at this point, but when I'm actually serging the top lace on, I want to make sure all the serge seams are going in the same direction. So I'm going to have my lace serge seam going in the opposite direction as the under serge seam, but you want to ensure that those under serge seams are not twisting from where your leg hole would be to the top of the underwear. And I did cut the lace about 1.5 inches smaller than I cut my pattern, so that I had to stretch it just a little bit onto the panty to help give it a nice snug fit. Now I'm going to move over to my sewing machine and finish off the lace. So I'm going to use a wide zigzag stitch, and I'm going to zigzag that serging down so that the lace is pointing outwards. And I'm going to do this on each one of my seams. This is where it could be really handy to have a cover stitch machine. It would look a little bit more professional if you have a cover stitch machine, but having a zigzag to create fun, cute underwears for you and your significant other is also a great way to finish off these underwear. And then I'm going to finish up by doing the top one. Again, I'm just folding back that serging, and I'm ensuring that all the serged seams going up and down the side seam and back are facing the same way, because you don't want that twisted, because then it's just twisted against your skin all day and it's not fun. Then you'll just want to go back and serge the final seam, lining up the edges of the fabric and the lace, creating your final panties. And there they are. Woo! Look at how cute they are. And there we have them. I think they turned out super cute, and I am so excited to be wearing matching underwear with my hubby this Valentine's Day. If you want this pattern, make sure to look in the description down below, as well as if you enjoyed this and are looking for other patterns like these underwear or anything fun, definitely make sure to like and subscribe so that you can continue to see other fun things to sew, as well as how to digitally apparel pattern. I look forward to seeing you in some of my other videos.